and welcome back to Bombay. And welcome to my first ever book haul video. I don't usually do this because I don't like to be shamed for the amount of books that I buy in a month or over a period of time. My family members do it anyway. I don't need people on the internet to do it. But I was unpacking, and this is what my bag looks like. It is pretty much 60% full of books. So I thought that I would do this fun thing where I show you the books that I bought. The reason why my bag is so full of books is because I spent 6 weeks in Delhi. And I essentially love Delhi because they have a lot of my favorite independent bookstores, and I of course safely visited them and bought quite a few books, because how can you go to a bookstore and not buy books? I don't know. um, so I did that, and I wanted to show you what they are, and that's what we're gonna do. But before I start, I also don't know the amount of books that are in my bag. So just for a fun game, let us comment down below with the amount of books that you think I am going to show you during this haul. And then we'll see who the closest one is. Like, let's be like Scouts honor and all of that sort of stuff, right? I also do not know, so I think my guess is gonna be I don't know, but pause right now and comment down below with what you think the amount is, and then let's see who the closest was. Okay. But yeah, I am just gonna start unpacking now and showing you the books, and just generally talking about it, and also like the places that I bought it, so that and I will link all those places down below, those bookstores. So if you want to go check them out, please do so. I am also going to be linking my video that I made for independent bookstores and why I think buying from independent bookstores are important. So do check that out. I do think I make some valid points. But let's begin. And I thought that I would start off this video with a book that I actually did not buy, and that is Radio Silence by Alice Oseman. This book was very sweetly gifted to me by Booksandki. She was one of the only people from the booktube community that I met in Delhi, and she's so lovely, and her kids are amazing, so do check her out. But this is a book that I've been wanting to read for a really long period of time, and I'm really looking forward to it because booktube just cannot shut up about it. And I don't quite know what this book is about, though I do know that it is about two high schoolers who start a podcast or are obsessed with the podcast. I'm not too sure, but I do plan to read this super soon for the Queer Lit Readathon. So stay tuned for my thoughts on this, I guess. And yeah. Moving on to the books that I actually bought, and we start off with one of the most beautiful books that I bought, and that is this beautiful book by Mahasweta Devi, and just look at it, guys. Oh my god, it is stunning. It is this book called Mirror of the Darkest Night by Mahasweta Devi, and it is a translated book by Mahasweta Devi. I've said it so many times now, but I don't know what this book is about too much, and I hadn't heard of it before, but I just bought it for the cover and what the story is. And I think it's about like a courtesan, and it it's set in the 1800s, and there's like the Nawab of Awadh, and like there are a lot of people like sort of involved. But I've really loved Mahasweta Devi's writing in general, and I just wanted it because it's so pretty. Oh my god. And I bought this from Faqir Chand bookstore in Khan Market. Another book that I bought from Faqir Chand bookstore is this one, which is Kashmir Rage and Reason by Gohar Gilani. There were a lot of books that were displayed in the bookstore about Kashmir, and I was very curious about it because it is a region that I really want to know more about, and I want own voices from that region. So I wanted to, so I basically asked them, I was like, hey, is there a book that you would recommend, something that is more recent? And this book is apparently just come out after Section 370 was put into place. And if you don't know what that is, I will link all of that down below. But yeah, this was recommended by them, and I am curious to read it and see what it has to say. The next book that has come into my hand is Red Earth and Pouring Rain by Vikram Chandra, and this is a book that I actually bought in Rishikesh at, I think, I will put it down here what the bookstore was called. I think it was called Ganga, if I'm not mistaken. And this is not a second-hand book. I thought it was, but it was apparently a book that was lying in the bookstore for so long that they gave it to me for like ultra cheap. I think they gave it to me for like $200 or something like that, because it was just lying there, and I was just like, whatever. But this is Red Earth and Pouring Rain by Vikram Chandra. Vikram Chandra is the person who wrote Sacred Games, which is now a Netflix show, and I really like Sacred Games, and I really like Vikram Chandra in general as a writer. So this is his first ever novel, which is widely hailed as a classic. This epic tale is a daring mix of fiction, history, and mythology. And I have no idea what this book is about other than that, but I saw Vikram Chandra and I was like, yep, I'm buying it. So that's literally the reason. And while we're talking about books that I bought while I traveled, I also bought this, which is Landor Days by Ruskin Bond. I have already finished this book, and I spoke about it in my 1000 Doors Readathon vlog, which I will link up and down. But this is a small little book by Ruskin Bond, which is basically like his diary entries from for an entire year, and he has his own witticisms and musings and stuff that he writes about, and I thought it was really nice and really cute. It's not a book that has a substantial plot. It's not something like, they're not like these musings that are connected to each other and will give you like this oh my god epiphany moment, but it's just cute, nice, and I really enjoyed listening to it, no, reading it. So especially while I was in Landor, because he spoke about a lot of places in Landor, and it just gave me a sense of history while I was there. So that was the reason why I bought it, and I will cherish it. And I found a book that I did not buy again, and that is Winter in Sokcho, I would like to say. This is a book that I've actually been eyeing for a really long period of time because it looks so cool. It's like a little postcard, but it is actually a book, so that's cool. And this was gifted to me by my friend Tejas, who came home to visit me, and this is a Korean book, and I don't really know what it's about, but I want to read it. So thanks, Tejas. The next three books are books that I bought from a little tiny shop in Hoska somewhere. I'm not too sure where it was, but I will link it here for you to see. But the first book that I bought was Vikram Seth's Two Lives. This is a book that is just so pretty, and I love Vikram Seth. Vikram Seth wrote A Suitable Boy, and I fell in love with his writing when I read it this year. So I just wanted all of his books, and this is a book that I do not have, so I bought it. Okay, that's basically the reason. The next book is Nevernight by J. Christoph, and this is a book that I've heard a lot about on BookTube, but I don't really know what it's about. There's something about an assassin, something, I don't know, but I got it for really cheap. Okay, so I bought it. And I also kind of want to like read it. And the next one is Amy Tan's Bone Setter Daughter, and look at it, it's so pretty. Just oh my god. I really loved Amy Tan's Joy Luck Club. I think that is one of my favorite books of all time, and I really like her writing, so I bought this one. The next bundle of books that I want to show you are books that I bought from Bookshop Joburg, which is a bookstore that I was honestly dying to go to because of my experiences interacting with them during this lockdown. They're just lovely people, and I got to meet Mahika and buy some books from them. So I'm going to just show you what they are, and that is the first one is Padmavati, The Harlot and Other Stories by Kamla Das. Kamla Das is again another writer who I really look up to. I really liked her memoir, which is My Story, and this is a kind of a what's it called? It's just got republished by Aleph. And I've already read it actually. It was quite nice. I liked it. And yeah, it's just a bunch of short stories. It's really tiny too. So oh, and I don't know if you can see, there's the back of the person and it's the front of the person. That's cool. Yeah. So that was the first book. Um, the second book was recommended to me by Mahika, and that is Make It Scream, Make It Burn by which are a bunch of essays by Leslie Jameson, and it is a profound exploration of the oceanic depths of longing and obsession. Make It Scream, Make It Burn is a book about what it means to be human, from a woman healed by the song of a lonely whale to a little boy convinced that he is the reincarnation of a Second World War pilot. Jameson dwells into strangers' lives and asks how we can bear witness to their changing truths while striving to find a deeper connection to the complexities of our own. So this is a book that was highly recommended by Micah, and I just took her word for it and bought it. And also is highly recommended by Florence Welch, who is one of my favorite singers. So yeah. The second book was also recommended by Mahika, and that is The Boat by Nam Lee. And this is also a short story collection. And it just sounded so cool. But essentially, what it says, I'm going to read the back again. It says, in this dazzling collection, Nam Lee takes us across the globe as he enters the hearts and minds of characters from all over the world, whether it is the story of 14-year-old Juan, a hitman in Colombia, a aging painter in New York mourning the death of his much younger lover, or a young refugee fleeing Vietnam crammed into the ship's hold with 200 others. The result is unexpectedly moving and powerful. And I just like all of this just sounded really good to me. I read a few pages of it and I really liked the writing as well, so I bought it. The next one is a book that I actually had them hold for me for a really long period of time, and that is In the Dream House by Carmen Maria Machado. And this book is basically a memoir of Carmen Maria Machado, telling us of her experiences with this partner of hers who was very violent. And I don't know, it was a troubled relationship. Um, but the memoir is told in like this very genre bending sort of way, and I have heard nothing but amazing things about it, so I couldn't wait to read it. And I'm very glad that I finally have a copy because I am going to read this ASAP. And the next book that I bought is Dirt by Bill Buford, and this is a book not for me actually, but for Vivek, who is my very good friend. Vivek Isms on Twitter and on Instagram. Follow him; he's amazing. And this is I think a memoir of his, Bill Buford's, which is Adventures in French Cooking, and I've heard great things about it. And I will give this to Vivek soon, and then he will tell you about it. So follow him because he reviews like all sorts of books on his Instagram. And yeah, another book that I bought from the Bookshop Joburg is Kindred by Octavia E. Butler. And this is a book that I've been wanting to read for a really long time and just wasn't available on Amazon. Like, it was really expensive, like 1,000 rupees or something like that. And then I found this wonderful looking copy at the Bookshop Joburg, and I just had to have it, so I bought it. The next few books I bought from Midland in Aurobindo. Okay, in Aurobindo, and I really loved them. They were really sweet. And if you shop from the bookstore, they also give you a 20% discount, which is very cool. Which is like you have to go to the bookstore. So Yeah. But the first book that I bought is Promised Land by Barack Obama, and this is a book that I had pre-ordered from them, and then I basically like was messaging them all throughout, like on the day itself, being like, "Are you open yet? Can I come take it?" And they were like, "Yeah, yeah, don't worry, we're just unboxing it. Come take it." The first book that they unboxed, they gave to me. It was really sweet. Um, but yeah, this book I wanted to actually like do an entire like review immediately, but then I saw the length of it and I was like, nope, that ain't gonna happen because I have a lot of shit to do while I was there in Delhi. So that hasn't happened, but hopefully this will happen soon. I do plan to read this because I am very excited about reading it. Oh my god, I have to keep this away. Okay. And the books are falling. Another book that I bought from them is Beach Read, which is a romance novel, but it has a lot of mixed reviews on BookTube. But I thought that the concept is really nice. It's about January and Gus, who are two writers. January writes romance books and Gus writes literary fiction, and they both are were sort of enemies or competitors during their like writing courses, but then they discovered that they are also neighbors in this beach house situation that they are in, and they are both in a writing slump, so they decide to exchange genres and write each other's genres or something like that, just to try to get out of that writing slump, and then they maybe get romantically involved. But yeah, that's basically what this book is about. I really like the concept, so I hope to read this soon. Another book that I really want to read for a really long time is Smoke Gets in Your Eyes. This book is spoken about so much on BookTube, but it's also Jyotsna's favorite, and I will link her down below because she's awesome. And this is a memoir of Caitlin Doughty, who is a mortician, and she talks about well, her life being a mortician and about death and stuff like that. So that is just sounds cool. But yeah, I bought this immediately because I saw it and I was like, "Yup, I want it." Another book that I could not find on freaking online, but I found at Midland was Long Bright River by Liz Moore. And this is a thriller about two sisters, one who is a cop and one who may or may not be a drug addict, and then the drug addict sister goes missing. Something happens, I'm not too sure, but this is again a book that I've been really dying to read, and so bought it. The next two were actually supposed to be gifts, but then I decided against it and kept it for myself. So I may read it now and then gift it to that person, but like, let's see. And the first one is Aftertaste by Namita Devi Dayal. This is the same writer who wrote The Music Room, and it is something about, I don't know, a family during Diwali, and I bought this during Diwali time, so it just kind of made sense. And the other book is How to Stop Time by Matt Haig. And yeah, I just really like Matt Haig and the way he writes and what he writes about, and he speaks a lot about mental health. So this one is a book that I wanted. The next few books are books that I bought from Bahrisons, and the first one is Wuthering Heights by Emily Bronte. This was a book that I've been wanting to read for a really long time because Harsh from Harsh herself really loves this book, and I wanted it in the Penguin Classics edition, which I wasn't finding, so I bought this one. And then I also bought The Lottery and Other Stories by Shirley Jackson because I am recently a fan of Shirley Jackson, and I really like her storytelling and the way that she writes and like the sort of thought that she puts into it. So I bought this one, and then this was a book that like they held for me for a really long time and they sourced for me. So shout out to Bahrisons and Mithilesh, but that is Jade City by Fonda Lee. This is a book that's spoken about a lot on BookTube. And I just really wanted it, a physical copy of it, and they sourced it for me. So thank you so much, Bahrisons. And yeah. Then is this one copy of Chetan Bhagat's book, which I don't know why I bought, but I bought it off the road. Like, you know, those people who come and like sell books to you. And I literally was like, he was like, hey, it's for 300, 400 bucks. And I was like, I'll give you 75 rupees. And he was like, okay. So then I was like, oh shit. So I bought it. I thought I would maybe do like a review or a vlog while reading this book. So yeah, I have no idea why I bought this. Honestly, it's like a waste of space. Hi, my battery died. So very quickly, the books that I was talking about before it died were these two, which is Saga Volume 1 and Saga Volume 2, which I bought from Booksandki. Thank you for letting me buy these off you, because I'm absolutely obsessed with them, and I really need to figure out where to get cheapish versions of Saga Volume 3 and 4. But yeah, these are the books, and I think that is the end in terms of the books that I bought or were gifted. Actually, I have one more. There is Billion Dollar Loser, which is the story of Adam Newman, who is the CEO of WeWork, and how WeWork kind of like crashed and burned. And I was gifted this by Hachette. And I really wanted to read this while I was in Delhi, but I just couldn't get around to it. So I brought it back with me, and I hope to read this super soon because it just sounds super intriguing. And then there are 3 other books that I bought with me, which were like stuff that I took with me to Delhi, and that is City of Brass, which I read for my Scary Cat Readathon. There is A Little Life that I was supposed to read for Scary Cat Readathon, and I tried reading a few chapters, and then I just got really depressed already. So I was like, you know what, like I will read it another time when I'm not like in a weird mental state. And then I also got 6 Acres and a Third, which is a book that I was supposed to give Key, but then I bought her own copy. So I brought this back with me. So that is it. And the total amount of books that I have brought with me that were in my suitcase. Are you ready? This is the moment of truth. Oh my god, let's see.
A little longer than a few minutes later.
24, 25, 26, 27, all right, 28. So these are 28 other books that I bought / were gifted to me. And then 29, 30, 31, 31. 31. 3 other books were books that I already had bought that I brought back with me. So that is a total of 31. And I think that's pretty close to like what I had originally said, like, or like thought. So I think my guess is gonna be 27. I think, I don't know. And it's really funny because I honestly did not count the books when I put them in. But yeah, this is a list of books that the amount of books that I bought. So thank you guys so much for watching. Comment down with a book stack emoji if you have reached this far. I know you've already commented down, hopefully, with your with how many books you thought are in this thingy, but well, more comments. Do let me know if there's a particular book that you want me to read and review as well. And that's all for now. Thank you guys so much for watching, and bye.